the most important thing to be a leader is gratitude. Gratitude is perspective. Gratitude's the hardest thing to do because it forces you to arrange your mindset. It's so easy to arrange other things in our lives, but if we can properly arrange our mindset with gratitude, gratitude makes our past better, our present even better than that, and our future even brighter than that. If you can find the light, find the love, learn to love everything that you do, there's one simple tool, which is gratitude. Gratitude is the power of perspective, and the greatest leaders in business, in entrepreneurship, in life, and most importantly in family, have gratitude as their cornerstone. Gratitude in itself is a practice. We have to understand how these values are placed upon our system. There's three different ways. Number one, at a cellular level, a conscious level, gratitude has to be practiced. In fact, I tell people all the time, the easiest and fastest way to change your life is to simply say thank you before you go to bed and thank you when you wake up. But you need to do this for at least 30 days in a row. Now, I know you're thinking, oh, I can do that. In fact, I sit in front of thousands of people speaking around the world, challenging them to say thank you or think thank you before they go to bed and when they wake up. Here's the saddest thing. By tonight, you have a 50% chance of not saying thank you. By tomorrow morning, another 50%, and there's almost 100% chance that within 3 days, you will not say thank you. That's how, at a conscious level, we're so far in our way of any habit, even a free habit that's guaranteed to change your life. I've been blessed to be around some of the biggest and greatest thought leaders in the world. Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor, Sharon Lechter, Mark Victor Hansen, just to name a few, and all of them would agree that gratitude is the most powerful habit that you can have. In fact, I sat on stages for 9 months telling people and teaching them to say thank you, but it took me those 9 months until I could actually do it every morning and every night for 30 straight days. Why does it have to be 30 straight days? I'll tell you. Any practice that we do has to go through our cellular memory. Our cellular memory only holds memory for the time you open your eyes to the time you close it. That memory is inputted by your 5 senses, the way we see, hear, touch, taste. Unfortunately, those are really bad inputs. People see things differently, hear things differently, taste things differently. And so we need a repetitive system in order to input that data into our subconscious. Now there's 10,000 new thoughts that come to us every day, 10,000 new data points that come to us every day. And it's inputted into our cellular memory, but we need to do that every day so it goes to the subconscious, which hosts 40,000 of the same thoughts every day. And that's what creates a neural pathway or a habit or a belief. Now, interesting enough, there's also one more interaction that occurs. Beyond the 40,000 of the same thoughts every day that you access, it communicates what I call to your unconscious competency. Now, most people generally know what an unconscious is, right? It's something that we have either when we've been knocked out or sleeping. But an unconscious competency, to me, is a technology. It is your DNA. Your quantum memory. It's the strongest and most powerful memory you have. In fact, that memory, doctors will tell you, within your DNA and the epigenetic layer of your DNA goes at least 4 generations. Great-grandparents, grandparents, parents to you. And you always need to raise your awareness of what your quantum memory is, what your unconscious competency is. Do you have gratitude that's been handed down from those 4 generations to you? Why is it some people are more happy naturally than other people? And why do some people hereditarily or DNA or quantum memory are depressed, anxious, fearful, scarce, all these different things? When we can identify that we can make significant changes, we can stop the chain of inheritance by simply practicing gratitude, you now know the power of perspective. And so the number one lesson to be a leader is to be a gracious leader. Second lesson, forgiveness. Most people don't talk about gratitude when they're talking about leadership. They absolutely don't talk about forgiveness. Gratitude gives you perspective. Forgiveness or empathy, it gives you peace. What does peace mean? Peace is an energetic savings of time. Most people think they have to connect to inspiration. What they don't realize is that 100% of the time, you're connected to the most powerful source of energy, light, and information at all times. But our egos, our ego-based consciousness, interferes with that connection. It creates interference, resistance, voids, shortages, obstacles. It corrodes that connection so that we cannot forgive. We create problems. Think about this. In an ego-based consciousness, what and how much time have you wasted? How much emotion have you wasted with the need to be right, the need to be offended, the need to be resentful, the need to be separate, inferior, superior, the need to be anxious, fearful, angry, frustrated? All of these different interferences have one solution. As a leader, all of those things will occur. You need one tool in your tool bag, one lesson of forgiveness. And the great thing is, you don't have to forgive anyone. In fact, nobody deserves your forgiveness. There's only one person that you need to forgive and only one person that deserves your forgiveness, and that's you. And the reason is, you can't give what you don't have. And if you can learn to forgive yourself for all the lessons that you forget, all the interference, corrosion that you have created from the most powerful source of energy and light and information that you're constantly connected to, you will work at the most efficient level as a leader and contain, as I say all the time, we have more power in our pinky to light up all of Los Angeles, and imagine how much we're wasting. Stop wasting your energy as a leader and start forgiving yourself and allowing yourself to give it to others. The third lesson, one of the most difficult to teach as a leader and one of the most difficult to practice as a leader, that's accountability. Now, my mom told me when I was young, stop living below the line in blame, shame, and justification. You need to be accountable as a leader for everything in your life. There's only two questions, she said to me, you have to ask yourself for everything in your life. Number one, what did I do to attract it to myself? And two, what am I supposed to learn from it? As mentioned before, life is about lessons. The lessons we learn will keep on coming until we learn them. Accountability actually gives us control of our lives. Perspective through gratitude, peace through forgiveness, control through accountability as a leader. Now, most people confuse liability with accountability. Now, I had to go to law school because remember, doctor, lawyer, or failure. But when I went to law school, I was thoroughly confused about accountability. I started thinking, how is it if I was sitting at a stoplight and somebody was texting and hit me from behind, could I be accountable? But what I realized was someone may be liable, according to California state law or federal law or some sort of regulations, but the bigger question I should ask is simply, what did I do to attract that incident, that occurrence into my life, and what am I supposed to learn from it? Asking those two questions allows you as a leader to accelerate yourself, exponentially grow, but most important, when you take accountability, it allows you to elevate others to elevate yourself. One of my favorite sports stories of all time was Russell Wilson when he threw the interception against New England at the last second of the game. What I loved about Russell Wilson is he took full accountability. He was almost arguing with Pete Carroll, who was at fault for losing the Super Bowl. But even more importantly, because of his gratitude, his forgiveness, and his accountability, the Tuesday after the Super Bowl, Russell Wilson was back at Children's Hospital in Seattle doing exactly what was important to him. Through those key values as a leader, that allowed Russell Wilson, again, to come back as the highest paid player in the NFL, as a superstar and an MVP candidate today. Finally, the fourth and most important lesson is inspiration, or effective communication. Now, inspiration is a two-way street. Most people, when they think of inspiration, they think about standing on stages, doing videos, podcasts, movies, TVs, all of these things that I'm going to inspire other people to inspire other people. But once again, you can't give what you don't have. Nothing is happening to you as a victim. When I was young, completely poor, 6 kids, 2-bedroom apartment, I believe things were happening to me. I didn't think it was fair. I couldn't understand why some people had beautiful cars and houses and 2 parents and all the things that I was missing. I made myself a victim. And then I decided that I was going to overcome that and that everything was going to happen for me. And I worked extremely hard, efficient, effective with statistical success to become a multimillionaire in my 20s. And everything came for me. I thought I was an optimist. Everything was for me. No wonder I lost over $100 million because there isn't enough of me. Until I realized the duality of effective communication and inspiration, that everything not only comes to me, but through me, for me, and through me. So let me repeat that. Everything comes to me, for me, but most importantly, through me. And so if everything's going to come through me for others, then I need to make room for more. How do I do that? I have to be conscious of what I'm connected to, what I'm communicating to, what I'm inspired from. So my perspective has gone from not only helping others and inspiring others to inspire others, but most importantly, I focus in getting back to center, using gratitude, forgiveness, accountability to clear the connection to the most powerful source of inspiration and keeping my focus here. So when I separate myself, corrode that connection, interfere with that connection, instead of accelerating in the wrong trajectory as a leader. One of the biggest mistakes of a leader is when we get anxious, frustrated, fearful, we project that insecurity and we move not only in the wrong direction, but we accelerate that in the wrong direction. I'll give you an example as a leader of my family, how important this is. I wake up every day at 4 a.m. I have a strict routine of what I do. I work out. As I left the house to work out at 4:30 a.m., I noticed that my 17-year-old daughter's car was missing. My immediate reaction as a leader was to pick up the phone with 4-letter words and scream at my daughter. Utilizing effective communication, I realized that instead of moving and accelerating in the wrong direction, I was going to stop, drop, and roll because my mind, body, and soul were all on fire, and I was going to calm down, go to center, connect to that which inspired me. And when I did, I picked up my phone and I called my daughter in peace. And I asked, "Where are you?" Quite tired, she said, "I'm in my bed." "Where's your car?" "It's at the grocery store, Dad, because you told me if kids were drinking," and I know what that means, kids were drinking, "that I could Uber home and leave the car." I then realized how proud I was of her, and I told her, "Hey, I'm sorry for waking you. Great job." And she said, "I love you, Daddy." Now, why is that important as a leader? What is the example of effective communication? Because just a few years ago, before I learned effective communication and inspiration, I would have called my daughter screaming. I would have used the F word and asked, "Where the F are you? What are you doing?" And she would have got defensive and told me, "You told me to do this." And what would have happened the next time? Unfortunately, I know. She would have been drinking, or the friends were drinking, and she would have decided instead of getting in trouble and yelled at and cursed at, that she would drive home. Then what happens? Your life can change when you learn not to accelerate in the wrong trajectory, using your ego, the need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, fearful. Why would I have done that, screamed at her with profanity? Because I was scared. Why was I scared? Because I loved her so much. But instead of moving in the direction of love, I would have moved in the direction that would have caused an extreme lesson. So if you want to be a great leader, not only do you have to be grateful to have the perspective of a leader, not only do you have to forgive and forgive yourself so you can give it to others, so you can have the peace, but you need to take control of your life by being completely accountable, by asking 2 questions. What did I do to attract this to myself, and what am I supposed to learn from it? And finally, if you can do that, you will live a duality of an inspirational life with effective communication, not only elevating others to elevate yourself, empowering others to empower others, but going back to center, connecting to that which inspires you most, and giving it away. This is Dave Meltzer teaching you the 4 lessons of a leader.